Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. The last video I did about talking about Sam Shimaun and God Logic got a lot of responses. So I usually take the time to do a whole video to deal with each response, or individually, but I don't really have time to do that because there's a lot. So we're going to do a quick fire thing here. Also, we have John Jobo, right? Blackstone Kisses. Okay, so this here is a troll. All right. Typically, what we do is we send trolls to troll heaven, but I won't do that. Troll heaven is like you block a troll. All right. So without lies, Islam dies. This is something that I'm seeing a lot on some of these people's posts. A lot of these apologetics. It's like I guess their little slogan. Yeah, well, Islam doesn't need lies. So lying is a sin in Islam. All right, it's 17 true of false. Prophets, prophecy after prophets. So which prophet prophesied Muhammad? Man, you just disproved Islam. They all did. But, if you want to know, go to Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42, it talks about, he prophesies a descendant of Kedar who will be a Gentile prophet. So that would pretty much X out any prophet that's mentioned in the Bible because all of them are, children of Israel. So, but Prophet Muhammad is not children of Israel. He's one of the descendants of Ismail. All right. 1548, you liar. I just looked it up. Yeshua means the Lord of salvation. Also means he saves, deliverance, rescues. Okay. He is saved is what the name means. He saves, delivers, rescues. Yeah, is it that much different? Like, come on, man. Go debate them. Yeah, I'll debate them in a form that makes sense. You gotta have a moderator. You gotta have a code of decorum, so that way a guy like me doesn't take Shimon and just punch him all in his face. That's the whole point. You want to have rules beforehand. All right, don't say things to insult the prophet, so on. And because Muslims, we automatically, we don't insult Jesus and stuff like that. Now, if you say Jesus isn't God is an insult, then there's something wrong with you. Like, there's literally, you have a mental problem, okay? So, but if Muslims don't insult Jesus, okay? All right, without lies, Islam dies. Oh, there goes that slogan again. Yeah, lying is a sin in Islam. So, you really have said nothing, okay? All right, who's this? Joe Ben Koshi. Hopefully he says something that means something. The rest of you guys are disappointing me here. First, you need to understand why we believe the Jesus of Christianity is true and the Jesus of Islam is false. Yeah, you're right. I do need to understand that. God claims he foretells the future, especially about who the Messiah will be in the Hebrew Scriptures. Declare to us the things to come. Tell us what the future holds, so that we may know what God, that you are gods, Ain't that something? Who foretold this long ago, who declared it from the distant past? Was it not I, the Lord? All right, that's probably some sort of a distortion of the way the Hebrews use the language. Maybe it's Elohim or something like that. I would have to look that up to understand exactly what you're getting at. But it sounds very pagan, right? We're monotheists. We don't believe in gods. Okay, so it's probably a distortion that your Europeans who don't understand Hebrew made, right? Because you look at Judaica, that's not their belief. The Jews, their belief in God is very similar to the Muslims. You guys are like the odd man out there, because you decide to follow Paul and Pauline and Johannite Christian. That's with John, which is a horrible book, by the way. All right, it says, who foretold this long ago, who declared it from the distant past? Was it not I, the Lord? Okay, that has nothing to do with Jesus necessarily. So, of course, prophets prophesize. That's why they call prophets. All right, Peter, Acts 3:18-22, those things which God foretold by the mouth of all his prophets that the Christ would suffer, he has thus fulfilled. For Moses truly said to the fathers, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brethren. Yeah, right, but the verse in Deuteronomy doesn't mention anything about what you're trying to connect it to, which is the suffering of and everything that you claim is in Acts. Okay. All right. So Deuteronomy, I'm more inclined to accept more than Acts, right? Because Deuteronomy at least was written by the children of Israel. though Jeremiah did warn in Jeremiah 8:8, he did warn that many of the scribes were corrupt in their writing, they were false. Okay, I'm still more inclined to accept Deuteronomy than Acts. Acts outright reject because it's attributed to Paul. Paul is a complete pagan. Paul went against Abraham's covenant of circumcision. We outright don't listen to a guy that does that. All right, circumcision is like the first sign that you are of the Abrahamic covenant. If you don't even fulfill that, you're gone, as far as we're concerned. Though he claims to have been circumcised, he himself does not push it. He says it's not necessary. Only a liar will tell you that. That's clearly somebody coming from Satan. If you can't see that, then I don't know what to tell you. Okay, we don't accept anything from Paul, all right, outright, because he breaks the law. That's the first sign of a lawbreaker is the first sign. Straight away, don't listen to him. That's anybody who knows anything about scripture and religion. You know that. Okay. Like that's like in Islam. Like I would follow some scholar or some sheikh who doesn't pray. That's like a guy come along saying, "Oh, you don't have to make 5 salah. You don't have to make wudu before salah. You don't have to fast Ramadan." Someone comes along and does that, we're going to outright reject them. That's why the Jews have outright rejected Paul. That's why the Muslims won't accept him. All right, so please, no acts. It'll never work. All right, Jesus, John 5:46, and then John, the Johannite Christianity. You understand, John was the last book written of the 4. All right, the one that the Muslims would be more inclined to even listen to for a second would be Matthew and some of Luke, because Luke isn't as pagan and isn't as man worshiping as like say John. John is just flat out, where you have Jesus saying, "I am the first and the last," and just nonsense. Okay, that we just won't even listen to. But anyway, you have John. "For if you believe Moses, you will believe me, for he wrote about me." Luke, "Everything must be fulfilled that is written about me. This is what is written: the Messiah will suffer and rise from the dead on the 3rd day." All right, this is why we have trouble also accepting this here. When the New Testament authors, okay, who were Greek-speaking individuals who wrote in Greek, are quoting from the Old Testament, they don't know the Greek, so they weren't quoting from the Old Testament. They were quoting from a book called the Septuagint. The Septuagint is a book that was a translation from the Hebrew text to the Greek, but the translation contains a lot of corruption because they were trying to make the Hebrew scriptures palatable to the society they were in, which was the Hellenistic Greek Roman society. Like if you don't know this history, it's like you're going to be lost, and this is part of the problem, right? We have problems accepting anything in the New Testament that is supposed to be a quotation from the Old Testament, from the Old Testament, because the New Testament authors were and they had a lot of issues, especially John. Like, go listen to some Bart Ehrman or Dale Martin, right? Guys who actually studied Hebrew, who studied Greek. They say that John is actually written in bad grammar, bad Greek grammar. So if a person is like a Greek speaker and you know Greek at a collegiate level, and you read John, you'll find his grammar horrific, right? So you believe this is something inspired by God that would be written in bad grammar, but you probably don't even know that. But anyway, what do you got? "Everything must be fulfilled that is written about me. This is what is written: the Messiah will suffer and rise from the dead on the 3rd day." Yeah, please. Yeah, we don't believe that. It's nonsense. These were written centuries ago. I mean, so what? All right, "Birth life, as Moses had to escape infanticide, it was made to return. He was made to return to his land, as Moses turned water to blood, and as his first son and commanded the sea and fed many in the wilderness, so was Jesus. And as Moses established a memorial of the slain lamb to remember their deliverance, so was Jesus." That doesn't mean anything. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he lost his father before he was born. His mother died when he was 6 years old. Most of them were without mother, whereas Jesus had his mother the whole time. So he's not like Moses. Okay, the prophet is Muhammad is closer to Moses because neither of them knew their father. Mary was always with Jesus, so they're not alike in that way, sir. Okay. Um, and Jesus with that to escape infanticide. What are you talking about? Water to blood. His first sign of command. Okay, that's fine. You know. Um, so was Jesus, and Moses established a memorial of the slain lamb to remember the deliverance. So listen, let me explain something to you. Okay. The Prophet Muhammad is much more like Moses than Jesus is. Okay. They were first without their fathers. Okay. Then Moses was with his mother when he was young. Prophet Muhammad was with his mother till he reached the age of 6. Okay, now when we talk about prophethood, they both became prophets at the age of 40 on a mountain. Okay, one on Mount Sinai, the other on Mount Nur. Okay, Mount Hira in Mecca. All right, both of them had led a big expedition. Both of them suffered persecution at the hands of the people they were in and had to lead what is called an Exodus in Hebrew, what's called a Hijrah in Arabic. So they had to go from one land to the other with a whole group of people and establish a new community there. However, Moses' people were more difficult to deal with. They didn't benefit from moving to another land until, later, Saul and David and all of them. But no, and actually the Prophet Muhammad came with a law, like Moses came with a law. Jesus didn't come with a law. He came with a gospel. Gospel was good news. And he foretold the coming of the next prophet that will come after him. All right, that's okay if you don't believe that. I mean, that's why you have believers and you have disbelievers. I don't have a problem with that. It doesn't bother me. Right? But you trying to make the argument that Jesus is more like Moses than Muhammad is. I think that's silly, especially when you talk about the birth of Jesus. Jesus is not like Moses, like at all. Not in those ways. Okay. Crucifixion. As Joseph was betrayed and sold by his own and later was exalted, so was Jesus. Okay, and as Joseph was betrayed by his own, so was Muhammad. When the Prophet Muhammad went to the Arabs and he brought Tawheed, they casted him out as well. They tried to kill him as well. Okay? What you got to understand about most prophets, you can find similarities in the life of most prophets. Okay, prophets were given a revelation. They went to their people, and the people didn't listen. This happened to Noah. This happened to Jonah. This happened to practically all of the prophets. This happened to all of them. Betrayed by their brothers. This is a common theme with prophets. Okay? I mean, I would go through this, but it's just going to take forever to go through each and everything. All right? But crucifixion, All right, let's go on. Let me entertain this. As Moses lifted up the bronze serpent so that those who look to it are saved, so was Jesus. Whatever. Psalms 22 and Isaiah 53 describe crucifixion and as the Passover lamb which was to be eaten. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Isaiah 53 is not a prophecy. Isaiah 53 is a lamentation over something that happened in the past. That's not true. Isaiah 53 is talking about Jeremiah, as Jeremiah is the one who was brought to as a lamb to slaughter, as Jeremiah writes in his own book. Okay, go back to Jeremiah. Don't forget about him. Stop believing that every single prophecy is about Jesus. Some of them are, but everyone is not. Isaiah 53 is clearly talking about Jeremiah. All of Judaica, all of Judaica say that it's talking about Jeremiah or Jeremiah. Okay? So that's just y'all believing that. Okay, the Jews, the children of Israel, who actually like the ones who really custodians of that text, and the Muslims, we say no, it's talking about Jeremiah. Only the Christians, y'all the eyeball again on that. Okay? Because you're a bunch of Europeans who don't know Hebrew. All right, let's see. Not to be insulting, but it's the truth. Resurrection. Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of a great fish. So was Jesus' resurrection from the dead on the 3rd day. Well, we don't believe that. I mean, you can believe that if you want. All right, so who's next? User only. I don't know the name here. I understand many Muslims, such as yourself, have grew up since younger. No, I accepted Islam at the age of 13. Very much being something which holds dear to you and your family, of course. And I say this with all respect to you, as you seem like a humble dude, but there is much left to be asked about Islam. Why had God ordained Muhammad to be a messenger, the most perfect one whom he committed much sin? Prophet Muhammad never committed any sins whatsoever. So I don't know what you're talking about. He committed not one sin in his life. All right. I mean, I guess you understand, what does sin mean? Sin means you violate a law of God, right? That's a sin. He never committed any violations of God's law. So, yeah. Go defend your faith, or is it fake after all? No, they don't have to defend Islam. Islam is like a product that sells itself. I'm just nothing but a pawn in everything in this world. That God controls. I don't have to defend anything, nor does that need defending, right? Like, if you walk up to a mountain, if I see a clown walk up to a mountain, right, and kick the mountain and bust his head up against the mountain, I fear for the person's foot and I fear for that person's head. I don't fear for the mountain. Okay, Islam is that mountain. All right, who's this here? Trades, JB, something like that. Embarrassing. So basically, this Muslim can't prove nothing. So he's going to cry and moan. Prove your religion is real and end this age-old debate. Simple. Other than that, the video is dead. You want to look into why Muhammad was into slavery. Okay. All right. First of all, I already did a video talking about slavery. All right. You're like, God, people are amazing. Okay. So, prove your religion is real. See, this is the thing about that, right? This is the thing. Allah already has us privy to that in the Quran, right? It says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم. Right? So as for those who disbelieve, it is the same to them, whether you warn them or you don't warn them. They won't believe. Right? It says that Allah has placed a seal over their hearing and over their and over their eyes is a veil, and they won't believe. Right? There's a seal over their hearts and over their hearing. Okay, that's just the state of mankind. Some people are going to believe, some people are not going to believe. The one who makes believers and disbelievers is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the one that has control over that. So we don't walk around fretting and being worried about that. We don't have a fear, or we don't have a insecurity about Islam to where, oh my God, I got to go out and prove it's real. No, it is what it is. You go search and you use your brain, right, and hope that you're not one of the people with a sealed heart, and you'll see for yourself. I don't have to prove anything. This isn't a science project. This isn't anything like that. Right? I think you got it twisted. You want to look into why Muhammad was into slavery. Slavery was just happening everywhere in the world. Why was Romans into slavery? Why was Greeks into slavery? Why were Africans into slavery? Everyone was into slavery. Okay? Right? The point of what makes slavery bad is that if you are what do you call an oppressor, or if you're harming someone, that's the issue, right? But slavery, by definition, one person serve another person. That's still happening in our world now, right? Whether it's indentured servitude, you pay them or whatever. That's just the case. All right. What Islam did was it laid down absolute strict rules for it, and it also encouraged people to free slaves. It's one of the quickest ways to get into heaven is to free slaves. It's one of the greatest deeds one can do. Okay? That's the way Islam dealt with it. It made it such a thing where it wasn't really, for anyone that's sincere, it's not like desirable to have slaves. Because you have to feed the slave whatever you eat. Like if you have a slave in Islamic law, if you're eating shrimp and you're eating lobster, eating crabs, your slave has to eat shrimp, lobster, and crabs. Right? If you're wearing Gucci and you wear Fendi, your slave has to wear Gucci and Fendi. Right? They're not allowed to live under you, to be under you, or be less than you. Right? So who would want to do that? That's just actually more of a responsibility. The Prophet ﷺ also said that you are not to give your slave a task that's too difficult for him to do. And if a task is too difficult, you are to help him. That's what he said. Okay? So most of the Arabs were getting rid of their slaves anyway, especially during his time. All right. All right, let me see. Who's this? Jay Carter. He gives you guys opportunities to talk, but you guys lie. Truth is real, and truth prevails. Now, I don't care about anything that you're saying right there. All right. Whenever a person is conducting a forum, he has the mic, he has the editing, he has everything. I don't do those types of debates and discussions. I don't do that. Okay? What we can do is go to a mutual site and debate a formal debate. You know, scholarly, collegiate style. We can do that. I don't do that. Calling up somebody's show. Who the hell is that? Was this a radio program? Talk is cheap. Well, it's all talk. So, I mean, what are we fighting? It's all talk. Debate them, brother, to know the truth. Debating them is not going to help you to know the truth, right? You know how truth is gotten? Truth is realized through worship. It is not arrived through the intellectual exercises of debating. That's not how truth is recognized. That's not how truth is arrived at. Truth is arrived at through God blessing you with a light and an opening that helps you to understand. And I'm not talking about the delusion of, the Holy Spirit coming down on you or something like that. All right? Let's see here. Brother, why you don't want to engage? I don't want to engage because, as I explained, Sam Shamoun is the type of guy that I would end up punching out. That's why. Okay? Now, if you are pursuing truth, we have to. You can't stop this anymore as we are in the age on the internet and social media. If you say you have the truth, that will be challenged, and if it's true, it will come out as a shining light. It can come out as a shining light, but people will still reject it. That's the nature of how this works, right? If that was the case, then every prophet would have been followed, right? Jesus wouldn't have been persecuted, right? Noah, the earth would have never been flooded, right? Noah was on the truth. He told the truth. People still rejected. The majority of the people rejected. Moses was on the truth. Pharaoh still rejected. Right? Do you understand? Just because you're on the truth, it doesn't mean it comes out as something people follow. It can be a shining light. Yeah, it'll defeat everything. Every debate I see a Muslim guy with a Christian, in my opinion, the Muslim wins. As long as the Muslim is educated and knows what he's doing. But you'll still have Christians who believe the Christian won. Only because they heard the Christians say things that confirm what they already believe. Most people aren't equipped and honest enough to deal with two sides of an argument and have the sincerity to recognize which one is true, which one is false. Most people don't have that in them. Only special people do. I believe I was one of those people because I wasn't raised in Islam. Right? I really compared Islam to Christianity and came to the conclusion Islam was the truth. Right? Most people don't, though. This has just been my experience. And I've been on this earth for over 40 years. Most people only want to hear what confirms what they already believe. All right, so that I don't agree with that. Talk to Christian Prince. How are you still in Islam? Christian Prince is an ignoramus, right? And it's a shame that you don't know that. Christian Prince, his Arabic is bad, and his English is bad. I actually don't respect Sam Shamoun because I saw Sam Shamoun actually going to Christian Prince as if he's an authority. Christian Prince does not know the religion. Christian Prince tried to say that Paul is mentioned in Surah Yasin, right? And when he tried to prove it, he tried to go to a tafsir which didn't confirm that, right? It was just like, it's an embarrassment. But if you aren't like versed in this area of knowledge, you won't be able to tell. You'll think Christian Prince is strong. Christian Prince isn't strong at all. Listen, I'm trying to help you guys out, man. If you guys really are serious about learning your religion, you'll listen to some different people, man. Christians, you guys do have scholars, but half of y'all don't listen to your scholars. You go and you listen to, you don't go listen to Richard Nelson or Craig Evans or John Day or Bart Ehrlman or Richard Miller. You guys don't listen to any of them. Paul Andersons. You guys want to listen to Christian Prince and Sam Shamoun and this guy Avery. These guys don't even know the original text. That's the difference between like you guys and us. You know. Go listen to Christian Prince. You might learn something. Again, another Christian Prince fan here. Sam and David and Christian Prince always explain what the Quran and Hadith says better than your scholars. See, this is sad. No, they don't. They can't even explain it better than an 8th grade student of Quran and Hadith. You're just deceived by the people that call up. The only people that call up are people who aren't versed in Quran and Hadith. All right? Why don't you go see Muhammad Hijab's refutation of him and then judge for yourself? So it's okay when Muslims insult Jesus and Sam. Yeah, Muslims don't insult Jesus. That's the thing. And Sam saying horrible things about David Wood, son, and saying horrible things about David Wood's son who died. You spent 20 minutes I don't know anything about David Wood's son, okay? So I don't know what you're talking about. Be more specific. All right, and David Wood, isn't a prophet, by the way. All right, so I'm talking about insulting prophets. You can insult me, that's fine. So the prophet, I'm gonna punch you in your head, like if we're in the same vicinity, without a doubt. All right, may the good Lord guide you back from darkness. Jesus Christ is the only way, the truth, and the life. Yeah, whatever, dude. All right, without Allah's Muhammad, there goes the slogan again. Sloganeers. The special pleading in cognitive, I guess you mean cognitive dissonance of Muslims these days is disturbing. Yeah, you can say the same thing about Christians, I guess. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. But Muslims don't feel like Christianity's teachings are superior. We feel like Christianity's teachings are ridiculous. That's just the truth of the matter. The reaction guy. To me, it seems like Jesus is a spirit of God sent to save our souls. That's not false. That's true. Yeah, but his time was 2,000 years ago. All right, his mission was what it was, and right now he's awaiting his return. But right now, this is the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then when he returns, he's actually going to follow the Sharia of the Prophet Muhammad, and he's going to be part of the Muslim community. So, but if you're around when Jesus comes back, you'll have a chance. He'll give you a chance, but he's not going to be very compromising because it's going to be a wartime. All right. Have you not been able to prove Jesus is a Muslim? Yeah, sure you can. Linguistically, a Muslim is one who submits to the will of Allah. Jesus submits to Allah's will. So that's proof enough for us. The methodology they are using is written in your very own Quran, and you are not being honest with how these two are conducting themselves. Yeah, I am. Yeah. Sam Shamoun, he talks about the Prophet in ways that would cause me to just knock his teeth out. That's what I'm saying to you. All right, the big question is, can you read Arabic? All right, just follow my channel and you'll see. I ask this because one of the points they ask is, do you know what that prayer you recite 5 times a day is asking? You are welcome to go to their channel and debate them. This is like I think you just don't understand how ridiculous all of this is to me. Like, I'm just appalled. You're welcome to go to their channel and debate them. They are not in the business of delusion. Jesus Christ is not a delusion. Your Quran even calls Jesus the Messiah. The Messiah is not an Arabic word. What does it matter if Messiah is an Arabic word? What the hell does that matter? The Quran is telling you. The Quran never said that every prophet was an Arab. Most of the prophets were descendants of Jacob. Okay? Most of them were descendants of Jacob. Those were Hebrew-speaking people, oftentimes, or Aramaic-speaking people, so the revelation is revealed in their language. And if the Quran is recalling it, so what? If the origin of the word isn't Arabic, that is not a point. This is the stupid things that get under our skin. That's stupid. You're not making a point. And the Messiah is just nothing but an anointed king. That's all the Messiah is. Like, stop making it something that it's not. You don't know the Bible either because you are really butchering the verses. How do you butcher something that is already translated? Sam and Avery use the Hebrew text. No, they don't. As well to further their arguments to destroy the Quran. No, they don't. The hell they don't. Neither one of them know Hebrew. Now you're lying. The fact that remains that Islam, Quran, and Muhammad are indefensible. Yeah. All right. No logic lost badly to Jake. No logic. Other name is Niv. Sam, you next. Yeah, I could believe that. Yeah, I could believe that. Here it is talking about here. I don't know anything about that, but I could definitely believe he lost a debate because the stuff he comes up with is trash. I'm going to start putting together more videos where I just show that this guy isn't strong. All right, I'm going to have to do that because I see there's a lot of problems here. Talking from behind doesn't help at all. Go and debate them and save your ummah. I have seen so many leaving Islam on their channel, and that's hurting you a lot. All right, let me help you out with this here. All right. Muslims don't have, or at least I don't have a insecure bone in my body when it comes to that. Okay? Allah Ta'ala tells us, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, man yartada minkum an dinihi, fasawfa yati Allahu biqawmin yuhibbuhum wa yuhibbuhunahu, أذلة على المؤمنين وعزة على الكافرين يجاهدون في سبيل الله ولا يخافون لومة لائم ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله واسع عليم. All right, now listen up very closely. O you who believe, if any of you should ever turn back from your religion, Allah will bring forth the people whom He will love and who will love Him. They will be humble towards the believers, powerful against the disbelievers, striving in the way of Allah, and never afraid of those who place blame. That is the favor of Allah He bestows on whom He wills, and Allah is all-encompassing, all-knowing. All right, you got to understand. Islam is a favor that Allah Ta'ala sent to the world. If a person turns from Islam, that's to their own detriment. That person is someone that Allah obviously doesn't want good for or doesn't love. Or he's someone that is going through a period where, and then later he comes back to Islam before he dies. We don't know what is written for anyone. Okay, so there is no idea I'm going to go out here and defend the faith because I'm afraid people are going to go to Christianity. People go to Christianity, that is written for them. Obviously, they're not making it prayers, they're not studying, they're not doing something right. There's a sincerity problem. That's between them and Allah. That has nothing to do with me. All right? Though we pray for them, and when they come, they ask questions, we provide answers. We give them the truth. That's pretty much it. But going back and forth or having some fear of this weak stuff that this God Logic and Sam Shamoun and these guys are coming with, no, that's not what we're in the business of doing. All right, so this is just the answer to some of these questions that came through. This is getting long, so we'll be back soon. Peace.